Hi friends, how are you? I hope that you are ready for some math today. So we have been talking about shapes like squares and rectangles and triangles and hexagons and trapezoids and circles and all kinds of fun shapes. Today we're going to start learning about some different kinds of shapes. So all of the shapes that we have been talking about so far are 2D. Which means that they are flat, like a piece of paper. The shapes that we're going to start learning about are called solid shapes, where they are shapes that look like this. They're shapes that you could hold in your hand. And so we're going to start learning about some shapes like this one, which some of us might call this a ball, but its shape name is a sphere. And so we're going to start learning about some of those shapes. We're going to watch a brain pop about these solid shapes. But before we do that, I have one word that I want to talk to you about. So when we've been talking about rectangles or squares or trapezoids, we've been talking about the number of corners that they have. So we can count the number of corners on this rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another word for corners is vertices. Can you say that word? Vertices. And so you're going to hear this word used in the video to talk about corners. Okay, so say it one more time. Vertices. Okay, so we're going to watch a brain pop together, and then I'm going to show you some of the shapes that I have, and I'm going to challenge you to go on a shape hunt around your house to see if you can find any of these 3D or solid shapes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so we can watch the brain pop together. So remember that when we're watching a brain pop, we want to be watching the screen and paying attention, because the brain pop is going to teach us a lot of new information about shapes that we have not talked about before. So here we go. I'll be watching with you.
Wow, Moby, that looks, achoo! Sorry, Moby. I think you dropped this. What is a cube? A cube is a solid shape. It has 6 faces or flat sides. The faces on a cube are all squares. There are 12 edges where the faces meet, and there are 8 vertices or corners. Plenty of things are shaped like cubes, like an ice cube, a number cube, or a box of tissues. What is a rectangular prism? Just like a cube, a rectangular prism has 12 edges and 8 corners or vertices. You're right, Moby. These solid shapes both have 6 faces. But most faces of a rectangular prism are shaped like rectangles, and all the faces on a cube are squares. Tons of things are shaped like rectangular prisms, like a juice box, radio, and even a thin piece of paper. Some buildings are shaped like rectangular prisms too. What is a pyramid? This pyramid has 8 edges and 5 vertices or corners. There are 5 faces, and 4 of them are shaped like triangles. The base is the face on the bottom. The base of this pyramid is square. But I've definitely seen pyramids with bases that are different shapes. I guess the sides of any pyramid are triangles, and they all meet at one vertex. When I think of pyramids, I think of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. What is a cylinder? It has no vertices and a curved surface. Two faces on a cylinder are circles. A cylinder can roll. A can of tuna, a penny, and a spool of thread are all cylinders. You know what's really cool? The curved part of a cylinder is actually a rolled-up rectangle. What is a cone? A cone is a solid figure with one face, which is at its base. It's shaped like a circle. It has one point and a curved surface. A funnel, a traffic cone, and an ice cream cone are all cones. There's one more solid shape here. What is a sphere? A sphere has no faces, no edges, and no vertices. It's curved and round, so a sphere can roll. A ball, marble, globe, and an orange are all spheres. Sorry about the mess, Moby. Hey!
Great job, friends. Good listening. So I'm going to show you some of the solid shapes that I have, and we're going to talk a little bit more about them. So who remembers the name of this shape? It's called a cube. So a cube has 6 faces, or 6 flat parts where you could lay it down on a table. And we heard that word vertices, or corners. So if we count the corners, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, but then when we flip it over, there's 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 corners on a cube, and it has edges along the sides of the faces. So what things can you find in your house that are shaped like a cube? Rectangular prism is a lot like a cube, except for most of the faces, or the flat parts that you can lay down on a table, are shaped like rectangles, which means that not all of the sides are the same length. So rectangular prisms can look a lot of different ways. It can look like this one. It can also look like this, which looks a little bit like a cube because this side is square and this side is a square, but we have mostly rectangles here on all of the other flat faces. Okay, so what do you have in your house that's shaped like a rectangular prism? I see something that's in this room shaped like that. I'll be sure to show you next week when we go on our shape hunts. Video also talked about cylinders. So cylinders have 2 faces, or 2 flat parts that you can lay down on the table, and both of the faces are shaped like circles. And then it can roll just like this. Think of something that can roll like this. That is a cylinder at your house. There's something that you might drink from that is shaped like a cylinder. I'll show you what I'm talking about next week. Cylinders can be tall like this, or they can be short. They can be skinny, or they can be a little bit fatter too, okay? As long as they have 2 circle faces and the round middle part that can roll. Then we have a cone that has 1 face and it meets at the point at the top. It can also roll, but when it rolls around in a circle like this because it lines up to that point right there at the top. Here's a smaller cone. Makes me really want some ice cream. And then the last shape is a sphere. So remember, the sphere has no faces, or no flat part, no edges, no corners or vertices, and it's curved and it's round. So I have a question for you. What is the difference between this cone, between this sphere and this cylinder? What's the difference between a sphere and a cylinder? Because they can both roll, right? There's something that the cylinder has that the sphere doesn't have. I want you to think about that. And we will talk about it some more in some of our shape videos next week, okay? So this weekend, if you're watching on Friday, or this week, if you're watching this on Monday, I want you to be looking for any examples of these solid shapes in your house. Look in that kitchen. All right, have a great day. I'll see you soon, friends.